Bro, when people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me. Like, you feel me? And I don't give a fuck. Him. And everybody including Will, I mean, Will. Fuck.
Question for you.
You're a proud father.
If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
Anytime the names Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis are mentioned together, it immediately signals attention on two of the most dangerous and elite fighters in boxing today, both known for their ability to dominate opponents in very different but equally effective ways inside the ring.
Brain around that and make
Abayaskis comes forward, and Bud Crawford was hurt.
Now the mood around the situation has clearly shifted, with tension building and strong pride on both sides, creating an atmosphere that feels like it could boil over at any moment. Even though there is still no official agreement for a fight between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis, the energy after the recent live broadcast made it obvious the rivalry is becoming more intense, especially after Crawford laughed during the exchange, which some interpreted as dismissive of Tank's name, while others saw it as lighthearted. But for Davis, who is widely regarded as one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing, that reaction reportedly felt like disrespect, and something he is not taking lightly as the situation continues to gain attention and emotions on both sides continue to rise.
Yeah, dude. See, what I like about Tank is Tank brings something different. You know, back in the days, everybody had something. Muhammad Ali was a mover boxer, George was a puncher, Ernest Shavers was a puncher. Everybody had something they brought to the table. Larry Holmes had a jab. Mike Weaver had overhand right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has something. That division now is full, and Tank having to be the knockout guy of the division. He the one with the main knockout power. Garcia has it too, but Tank got that real knockout power that, like, if Tank hit one of them clean, usually they gonna have a problem. So it's like, I like Tank. Every now and then, I think when he knows he can beat somebody, he probably don't lock in as hard, but I think when they bring challenges, he locks in.
Yeah, he fights to the level of his competition.
Yeah,
he was doing that a lot.
And he got to be careful of that.
2 fights ago, he was really doing that.
You feel me? So you got to be careful of that, because if you come in and think somebody is not at your level and you underestimate them, it can get you beat. So that's the only thing I think you got to be careful of. Other than that, Tank is
As soon as the footage started circulating online, Gervonta Davis reacted immediately, taking to social media with a strong message that quickly went viral, where he fired back at Terence Crawford, accusing him of avoiding real pressure and only acting tough until a serious challenger steps up. Davis made it clear he wasn't hiding his frustration, and when a fighter like him speaks that directly, it usually signals real intent, showing that he is not just talking but is fully willing to settle any tension inside the ring if the opportunity presents itself.
They want like, it's like more so like hate type of vibe. Like, you know, they want what you have. Like, they want all the attention on them and type shit. But if they was to get it, they wouldn't even know what to do with it type shit. And it's like, I didn't ask for this. It just what came with it. Like, you know, I'm really like, people understand me because
Gervonta Davis fired back with a serious message, saying that Terence Crawford laughed as if he would never step up to face him, and warning that they would see if that laughter remains when they are standing face to face. There was no joking in his tone, as Davis made it clear he has been ready for a bigger challenge for some time, even expressing willingness to move up in weight and take on top names at 147, and when fans began linking him to Crawford, he didn't shy away from the pressure but instead leaned into it, showing confidence that he is prepared to test himself against one of the best fighters in the sport.
a fight with you and Terence Crawford. Look,
147. I tapped that trend. You know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know
he
he
ain't
is.
got no chance.
I already know he is.
You said no chance.
I got round 5.
Terence Crawford didn't ignore the situation at all, and when reporters brought up Gervonta Davis during interviews, he responded quickly, making it clear that in his opinion Davis had never faced anyone operating at his level, suggesting that they exist in completely different tiers and are not even in the same category. That sharp response is what truly intensified the rivalry and raised the tension between them, even further turning what started as talk into a more heated and personal exchange.
There ain't no catchweight. You come up to 47.
Not even entertaining the catchweight.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
All right,
I'll welcome him.
Then came to the Ring Magazine Gala, where Gervonta Davis was notably absent, while Terence Crawford was front and center in the spotlight. And when reporters asked about Tank's absence, Crawford responded openly without holding back, which marked the moment when the earlier light teasing between them shifted into something much more serious, and the tension between the two fighters clearly escalated. For a long time, Terence Crawford appeared to take the situation lightly, and whenever questions came up about a potential fight with Gervonta Davis, he brushed them aside as if it was not something worth serious attention, and from his perspective, that mindset made sense given that he is widely seen as the undisputed pound-for-pound leader in boxing with nothing left to prove, having already faced and defeated elite competition at the highest level, which is why he initially treated the idea of facing Davis as more of a secondary conversation rather than a defining challenge.
Speaking about you, is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and daring to be great.
You would fight him,
man. Tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Ooh. Wow, man. Monte said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147.
Ooh, see, oh man.
You're gonna have a pre-count.
Then what the people gonna say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
But at this stage for Terence Crawford, it no longer feels like a fight about legacy or proving anything new inside the ring. Instead, the focus has shifted toward making a statement against Gervonta Davis as the rivalry between them has grown more intense and personal, moving beyond competition into a situation where pride, respect, and reputation are now fully on the line.
Ever think about to come up to 154?
What about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
I got into it on social media around that time. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens, or is it like...
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. That's like
not your cup of tea. That's just not
I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality.
Let's be clear, there is still no official deal in place between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis, with no contract, no confirmed date, and no venue announced yet, but beyond that, almost everything else already feels real as the tension, sharp exchanges, and growing sense of disrespect have made the rivalry impossible to ignore, with fans actively choosing sides and the conversation spreading across the sport. And it's not just the fans either, as Floyd Mayweather Jr. has also stepped in to share his view, making it clear that he did not approve of Davis firing back at Crawford, adding another layer of intrigue to an already heated situation.
Crazy trash talk with Gervonta and Terence Crawford recently. And one of the things that I've always kind of noticed is most of the time, one of the things that's kind of off limits is families. Like, you usually don't,
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. And so I wanted to kind of understand what your thoughts was about like some of those comments that was made. I think it was about Terence's wife. What, like, in your mind, where, because obviously, like, you've been in this sport.
I think Terence Crawford right now in the sport of boxing is the pound for pound best fighter in the sport of boxing right now. It's good to see him in his position, in the position that he's in. I think he has a beautiful family. I think he has a beautiful wife, a beautiful queen, a black queen, and there's nothing better than a black woman in this world. That's just my opinion. We all entitled to our opinion. And I think just in the sport of boxing right now, I think we need to start sticking more together.
Here's where things take an interesting turn, as Floyd Mayweather Jr. is now reportedly linked to working with Terence Crawford for upcoming bouts, which adds a new layer to the situation, given that Mayweather once played a major role in guiding Gervonta Davis early in his career and helped shape him into a star, making this potential shift in alignment feel even more significant in the context of the growing tension between Crawford and Davis.
He was a young kid, came up to me when he was a kid, wanted an autograph. I signed his phone for him and told him, "You'll be world champion someday, and I'll be your promoter." Years later, he was working with some people from our team, because our team is huge. We got guys in DC, Baltimore, Philly, New York, all around. He won a few fights. I think he was like 8 or 9-0. I told him, in under 24 months, you'll be world champion. Made the right moves, put him in the right position.
He's a multi-millionaire now.
Absolutely.
He was a kid that couldn't even buy a bus ticket. Now he's a multi.
And it becomes even more intense when you consider that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the same figure Gervonta Davis has been openly criticizing for months, yet now appears to be aligning with Terence Crawford, the very fighter who laughed at Tank during a public exchange, creating a situation that feels deeply personal from Davis's perspective, as it looks like his former mentor is siding with a rival who has publicly disrespected him. And when you combine that with the live TV moment where Crawford mocked him, it only adds more fuel to the fire, making it clear that this situation is no longer just about boxing but about pride, loyalty, and proving a point inside the ring.
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause I feel like y'all got, I would say love hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, you know, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him. And I'm doing it at a young age. Wait, like when Floyd was 29, you'll see, bro.
Yeah.
That deal that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's a part of the
deal. He don't know about that yet. But that's bigger than his deal.
Damn. Wow.
And I'm just releasing it.
Exclusive. That's exclusive. Bigger than Floyd deal.
Yeah.
Before a Gervonta Davis versus Terence Crawford fight can even be discussed in full, there's another major showdown that could shift the entire landscape. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez.
Today, September 12th, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada, USA.
Terence Crawford is reportedly stepping up significantly in weight to take on Canelo Alvarez, one of the toughest active fighters in boxing music. And honestly, it's a daring challenge that immediately raises questions about size, power, and how Crawford's skill set will translate against such a physically strong opponent.
But in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this.
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like yes, man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Majimov.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones.
Canelo Alvarez is more than just a hard hitter. He's a highly skilled technician and a smart ring strategist who already has extensive experience competing at higher weight classes. That combination of power, timing, and ring IQ makes him especially dangerous in this kind of matchup. Historically, when smaller fighters move up to face opponents like Canelo, the challenge becomes extremely difficult, and many end up being overwhelmed by the size and strength difference over the course of the fight.
Anymore, but you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Gervonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because then everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, you know, he need to enjoy his fight. Okay, he deserve it. He deserve it. I like Spence, but you know, I like Spence and all the respect for him and everything. But I knew. I think is the type of fight Terence Crawford is fighter is different. 168, but like I say, like he say, nobody's gonna give me credit for that.
If Terence Crawford were to suffer a clear defeat against Canelo Alvarez, it could significantly impact the hype around a potential showdown with Gervonta Davis. Fans might lose interest in seeing a fighter who has just been convincingly beaten stepping back into another major super fight, and the sense of uncertainty and excitement around the matchup could fade. In that scenario, the mystique around Crawford's dominance would take a hit, and the overall anticipation for a Tank versus Crawford clash might lose momentum before it ever fully builds.
That's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned.
So now let's imagine for a moment that Terence Crawford gets through the Canelo Alvarez fight and the matchup with Gervonta Davis actually happens. Inside the ring, it would likely turn into a high-level tactical battle. Tank Davis is one of the most dangerous punchers in boxing. Fast, sharp, and carrying fight-ending power, meaning even a single clean connection could instantly change the outcome of the fight.
Go see Tank, I gotta get shots in my hands. Then I gotta make sure my hands is right, because I don't dumb him down with his punches. I let him do it. You know what I'm saying? And he get to a point, you all right? You all right? Yeah. Nigga, work. I just feel sorry for them guys that really pushed the button. Martin pushed the button.
Terence Crawford, on the other hand, brings a completely different skill set. He can switch stances smoothly, reads the ring at a very high level, and is known for sharp timing and controlled movement music. Instead of relying on early aggression, he tends to break opponents down gradually, both mentally and physically, before taking over the fight and closing the distance as openings appear.
Gervonta Tank Davis. Now you felt their punches. Who hits harder to you?
Like when I sparred Terence Crawford, I was 20 years old at the time. So it's like he was trying to man me, like, I'm gonna show you a little boy type stuff. But like what you just said, so I'm mature for my age. So, you know, so that's why we even out. Right. Even a little
The weight difference would definitely play a major role, with Gervonta Davis potentially moving up from lightweight into the 147-pound range or higher, depending on what happens after the Canelo Alvarez fight involving Terence Crawford. In that scenario, Crawford would naturally be the bigger man, with longer reach and more experience at welterweight. He also carries momentum from his dominant stoppage win over Errol Spence Jr., which showed how effectively he can control elite opponents at that weight.
They're not. You know, I don't know what it is with me. They just always try to diminish my accomplishments and, oh, well, who I was fighting. They say, oh, well, you wasn't fighting nobody. And this guy, Errol Spence, is the most fundamentally sound fighter in the game. So that's why everybody was picking him. But I was favored in Vegas, so Vegas must have.
Gervonta Davis excels in tough, high-pressure battles. He has proven courage, strong determination, and a solid chin that is held up under fire. If he can successfully carry his punching power up into the welterweight range, he becomes a very serious threat even against bigger opponents. However, to be fair, Tank hasn't looked as dominant in his most recent outings, and a lot of that discussion started after his last fight with Lamont Roach Jr., where fans and analysts began questioning whether his usual explosiveness and control were as sharp as before. On paper, Gervonta Davis still came away with the win, but anyone who actually watched the fight saw a different story unfold. Lamont Roach Jr. gave him real problems in the ring, making the contest far more competitive than many expected and raising questions about how comfortable Davis looked under sustained pressure.
With the left. Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaned with right. He took a knee. He took a knee.
Lamont Roach Jr. was able to land clean shots on Gervonta Davis, slip punches effectively, and at times even looked like the sharper fighter in exchanges. Davis's usual explosiveness seemed slightly muted, with his timing just a bit off compared to his usual standards. And it's worth noting that Roach is not considered on the same level as Terence Crawford. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.